What's new with John?
Jude.
Rudy.
This week we
Went to Ireland. That was so crazy, dude. We're in Ireland right now. What a beautiful country.
That is crazy.
amazing.
We got tattoos, climbed some big mountains, and
Ate some good fish and chips.
yeah, hear all about that in this week's episode.
So let me fix. Alright.
Alright, so
Alright guys.
this is gonna be the recap episode, right?
Sorry.
You good, man?
Sorry. Yeah.
This is gonna be
It's
the
better.
recap episode of our week in Ireland, our trip.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is the live episode, you can't tell.
Yeah. We're finally doing a live episode. This is Jude.
This is John.
And then we got our guest star Rudy right here.
Yeah.
So you get a guest feature and you get a live episode.
That's crazy.
So-
And you got a hype reveal.
Yeah.
Everybody stand up.
just like this. Okay.
So as you can tell, Jude's the tallest. That shit.
Okay. So how was our week, guys? We had a pretty interesting week.
It was so much fun and it flew by.
Yeah. That's the best way I could describe it too.
Mm-hmm.
We all got to the airport. Got robbed at the car rental place.
Yeah.
Yo, this man right here, so unpunctual. He was late for 5 hours, had us waiting the whole time.
Me and Rudy, we were at the airport by like 8 a.m. And then we were like, okay, John's gonna come at 9:30. And then he's like, okay, we got a delay. And I'm like, all right, no worries. Delay's at 12:20. I'm like, all right.
This is why you don't
What's up?
fly Aer Lingus.
I did not fly Aer
This man
Lingus.
flew Aer Lingus.
I didn't fly Aer Lingus.
So John flew Aer
Put
Lingus.
that
No.
cap on you.
No!
I'm not captain. I'm not captain. I flew play, okay?
That's how you know it's shit. Cause John went to Iceland and then he got delayed even before going to Iceland, and then once he got to Iceland there was another delay, so it was just insane. And me and Rudy were just sitting there, just being chilling at the airport, and I had to change the car rental pickup time so many times, like probably 5 times. And when John finally landed, the plane said like taxing, and I had no idea what the fuck taxing meant, so I had to Google it. And I found out that taxing is when the plane lands on the tarmac,
I think
but
it's-
it only stays there. Like it's not landed yet.
I think it's taxiing because it's
Taxi.
Yeah. So me and Rudy were like, "What the fuck?" So it went from 9:30 to 12:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then from 12:30 to 1:30, and then 1:30 to 1:40, and then from 1:40 to 1:45.
It was so bad.
It was really, really bad.
It's not my fault.
So we
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get the car until like probably 2:30, and at that point we also got robbed.
But yo, while we were at the airport, I found this random ass piano in the airport because in Europe they have that,
Yeah.
and piano is piano. Just
In Rudy
make it
terms.
clear. In my
In Rudy
terms. And I just sound the piano. I'm fucking around on it. I'm playing on it for like 30, 40 minutes, waiting for this man to show up. And out of nowhere, this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, have yourself a Christmas drink, lad. You earned it." Gives me a 10 euro bill. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's the first time I made money out of music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was very proud of Rudy, and every time Rudy finished playing, everybody would go like clapping, start clapping, go woo!
What? I wish I was there to see that.
Yeah, Rudy gave the performance
This
of a
is-
lifetime.
This is why you should be punctual, John.
I know, this is why you don't fly Aer Lingus.
My bad. Yeah, fuck
And-
Aer Lingus.
And then we got the car. The guy was like, "Oh, do you have this amount of money in your bank account?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, let me try to do some things for you." And he gave us the family and friends discount. And he took off a bunch of stuff for insurance, and that's the last time I'm ever gonna do car rentals.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. I forgot his name, but shout out to him.
Shout out to that guy. We don't know who he is, but
Yeah.
shout out to that guy.
If I were to see him in a crowd, I'd probably forget you, but I know.
What?
Wow.
Oh my god.
I'm really bad with faces.
We budgeted for like
500.
500, and it was twice that at least. It was more.
Yeah, it was actually 4 times that, or like it was 2,000 something was his original price before he gave us the family discount.
26.34, I think.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, do you have this much money in your card?" And I was like, "No." and it was a shit show. But we were able to drop it down, and then I drove from Dublin to Cork.
This man was so freaked out the first time.
Yeah,
it was stressing.
I was stressing out. It was really weird to drive on the right side of the road or the left side of the road, but on the right side of the car.
Yeah.
And John was my passenger, which didn't help at all because he would give me the wrong fucking directions.
I was so bad. It was not my fault. It was Google. Google was giving some whack directions.
It wasn't Google's fault. I saw the map, and John saw the map too, and he was like, he would tell me to. He would be like, I'd be like, oh, is it this exit on the roundabout? He's like, yes, no, and I'm like, oh my
Google Maps wasn't clear.
Oh my god! So there was that. We had the best burgers I've ever had. Gaelic burgers, and that place was awesome.
Gaelic burger is so good.
Yeah, shout out to the Irish woman there.
Yeah.
She's so Irish it's hard to understand.
She was so Irish that I couldn't understand what she wanted me to put on the fries, so I just said no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said no?
I said no. I should have said yes.
Yeah.
They were so good though.
That burger was amazing. It was so fucking good. And it was just on the side of the road too. Like, it wasn't even some big ass building. It was just some hut in the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. And then we drove to Cork for our first stop. Stayed there overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the morning we were off to Ringakerry. And then we were tired as fuck in the morning, but we still managed to pull through.
We also watched in Cork the movie The Brothers Grimsby. If you haven't seen it, it's a hilarious movie.
It's amazing.
It's trash. Don't watch it. Don't waste your
It's
time.
the best. It's the best movie
fucking
ever.
garbage movie.
Me and John were dying on the ground. Like, we were just dying of laughter.
Unless you're into elephant bukkake, watching grown men put shit up their assholes, and a lot of innuendos, and giving a guy a hickey on his ball sack.
His brother.
His brother gave his other brother a hickey on his ball sack to suck out the poison, supposedly. Which makes zero fucking sense.
Rudy a big hater.
Rudy's a hater.
I'm with Debbie Downer on this movie.
Rudy was like, this movie is shit, but me and John, we loved that movie, bro.
Good movie.
So good. But yeah, the drive to Ringakerry was was a really long drive. We didn't even go to the cabin first. We just went to one of the mountains first, and we did some hiking. We went to the Gap of Dunlow, and then we did the first mountain there.
So
And
beautiful.
it was amazing. It was absolutely breathtaking. These two guys were like, I don't know if we're ready for that hike, and I was like, no, let's fucking do it. And we did it, and it was good.
I had no frame of reference, just clear. But it was a 450 meter.
That was
climb.
500.
440, I think.
400 meter climb.
But we had no idea the route. We didn't know. I didn't even know that this mountain was a thing. We didn't know how high it was gonna be. But we ended up just doing it because it was the first one there, and I didn't want to feel like walking the rest of the way.
Yeah, it was a good decision though.
It was an appetizer to the meal course.
Yeah, and that's coming up.
Yeah.
That's coming up.
The male course.
Meal course.
Man's thinking about eating something.
Yummy meals.
But how did you guys find the mountain and the climb?
The first one?
Yeah,
It's pretty soft.
pretty soft.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of like effort in terms of like challenging sections. It was just kind of like a standard hike, and you just kind of hike up the side of the mountain.
Yeah, the views on the side were just gorgeous. Especially the midway point, you could see the valley, and it was just beautiful. Like, just the angle, you could see everything is great.
The angle, the curve, the skin color.
I wish we could show them the amount of shit on that mountain.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of shit. There was a lot of goat and sheep shit everywhere. And at one point, we just were like, "What the fuck?" Like, I just stopped looking on the ground. I stopped caring.
Yeah, y'all ever like get a pack of blueberries? You see how round they are, and they all like together. It was like that, except it was brown
And bigger.
and sometimes some of them were like baby ones, but like they varied, and they were everywhere. And eventually, you stop looking where you're walking because you're gonna miss the view, so you just keep walking over them.
Honestly, and there were points where like the streams would flow from the mountain, and we just stepped on that just to clean our shoes.
Yeah. I was tempted to drink the water, but
Yeah,
I'm
glad you guys
did not
didn't.
drink the water.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get poop microbes in my water.
Yeah. But it wasn't too bad. The hiking wasn't too bad. We took a bunch of breaks. Really took our time with it and took a bunch of cool photos and videos for our documentary
Yeah.
that we talked about last podcast.
Two or three podcasts ago.
Yeah,
So it's becoming a reality. You check our YouTube channel later, or
in a couple months.
Yeah, in like half a year maybe for it.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna go like really hard on it. We want to do like as much editing and storytelling as possible, so we can like send it to like we can like submit it to like some film festivals maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, we definitely took our time. The biggest thing that I wanted for all of us to do on this trip was to see these really cool sites. And I know that me and John wanted to do a lot of video taking and photo taking, but I also told him that I think it's really important for us to take in the sites as we're going along and just taking some time. So we tried doing that as much as possible. And at the very top of the mountain, we just sat there and had our lunch, which was really, really good. My hands were frozen, but we were up there for quite a while, just soaking in all the views and of the different mountains in the valleys. It was just gorgeous up there, definitely.
There were two words to describe Ireland weather. It'd be rainy and windy.
Yeah, there was so much wind up there. It was like if you just stood up, you were just getting blown away, and then if we sat down like low to the ground, it was fine. And then we saw a man up there who just jogged his way up, took some photos, and jogged down. He did not give a fuck.
Well, we did that hike in 3 hours. That man just jogged up the mountain. He's like, yo, I do this for my daily run, lads. This is my exercise. And just went back down.
Yeah, he gave us a look, and we said hi to him, but he didn't say anything back to us.
Mountain running must be, a thing in Ireland because the other guy. We
Yeah,
can talk about
yeah.
that. We can talk about the other guy later,
Yeah.
or now.
But after the hike, we were like, okay, it's 4:00. It's time to be able to check into our Airbnb. Let's take a nice quick drive to our Airbnb. That quick drive, when I checked the GPS for the first time, turned out to be an hour. And there's if you guys never been to Ireland before, there's a thing called Gap of Dunlow, and there's one narrow road that goes across, like straight through the gap. I did not want to take that road because that road is barely has barely enough room for one car, and it's cars can come
It's a two-way.
Yeah, two ways, and we had to take that road, and I wanted to cry that entire time. I think I gained 30 new gray hairs during that drive, and it was horrible, and I hated every second of it. And and Rudy fell asleep in the back,
Of course.
and John was
Big sleeper.
since it was the first second day driving, I was still really anxious, and we took it so slow. So that hour was probably 2 hours of just driving, and John and I were both stressed the fuck out because it was horrible.
Oh my god.
But eventually we made it to the Airbnb in time for absolute pitch black darkness, and it was amazing. The Airbnb was really good. The cottage was such a really beautiful cottage, and it was really roomy. And the first thing we did was we found the stereo system for the music, and we just blasted it throughout the entire house, and we had a good time. And
I need to get a stereo system like that.
Yeah,
for my
it was-
place. It was nice.
it was so nice, and it was just like the dining room was just so big. Like the ceilings were high, and there was so much room, and we had we bought some groceries, and we had pasta that night, I think. Pasta and meatballs.
Pasta
Pasta meatballs. Yeah.
Pasta and meatballs that night, and that was very tasty. And then Rudy and John did the fire, and that made the cabin very toasty. And we had an overall really good night that night because we had to prepare ourselves for the next day, which was the big, gigantic, tallest mountain of.
No.
Let me look up what it's called,
Cliffs of
dudes.
Kerry. Cliffs of Kerry.
Oh.
Cliffs of Kerry.
Yeah.
Was that
Oh,
before or
Before,
after?
yeah. So that was all Monday, and now we're getting into Tuesday. So Tuesday we wake up. Actually, we shooting some B-roll for the documentary, and Jude finds this dog, this adorable, pretty dog that ran up to him while he was filming.
Yeah, I was shooting outside because me and John were like, I shot some stuff inside while John and Rudy were getting up from waking up in the morning. I shot some stuff inside, and then I was like, okay, John, I'm gonna shoot stuff outside. You do your thing. So I went outside, set up my tripod, and out of nowhere, I see this dog hobbling towards me, and I was like, is that dog lost? Whose dog is this? But then it started coming towards me and asking me to pet him or her, and I started petting her, and every time I stopped, the dog would keep pawing me or start whining, and I was just like, okay. And I tried calling after John, and John couldn't hear me at first, but then he found me, went outside and started playing with the dog, and we still shot some B-roll. We also, I think we did a run that day.
No, that was Thursday. No, yes,
No,
we did.
we
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So we ran that day. We did a little bit of our run for the marathon, some little practice run.
Yeah.
We wanted to
minutes.
we wanted to get one in during the trip at least.
Yeah, we shot some interview shots for our documentary again that day, and there was another dog I want to mention. Another dog came along. That dog. So the first dog was like really pretty. He had like nice eyes and beautiful coat and really cute. The second dog was
Oh my god.
had a cute face, but it looked kind of diseased. So the first dog had a collar actually. The first dog looked like it was someone's dog. The second dog looked like it was like a stray dog maybe.
Nobody's dog.
Nobody's dog.
It was nobody's. I'm pretty sure it was nobody's dog, and it must have given birth, and like its titties were all enlarged, swollen, and it had one that was like as big as a fucking like little soccer ball.
Yeah.
And it was leaking blood, and then the other dog drinks from that tit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was gross as shit
Yeah,
I've ever seen.
Must have been like an abusive relationship or something because that the pretty dog was like drinking milk straight from the tit of the other dog. I have no idea what that was.
I did not see this dog because I was inside, but when John and Rudy came back, they immediately washed their hands. Thank God. And then we had breakfast, and I think that was the day I had like 2 shots of espresso. So that was fun. I had like a power surge. Anyways, we also shot.
Forced me to take 2 shots too, and I crashed after that. I was even more tired after it.
Anyways,
Anyways,
we shot some B-roll, some interview shots. We did our interview section for a documentary right after, and that took a couple hours. But that was Rudy. How would you say that went? Because for people who don't know, the documentary is about Rudy. So Rudy, how do you think the documentary interview section went?
the interview was rather cathartic because I've never talked about it in that much detail, and I don't know how it's gonna turn on a documentary. I don't know like what parts you're gonna include, what parts you're not gonna include, but at certain parts I did get kind of choked up because it was a very personal experience that I was talking about, and it was how do I say this? It was good. It was good overall.
Yeah, we took a lot of like breaks in between, mostly because like, it was mostly for Rudy, but also because like sometimes our cameras would need a recharge or something. But we took some breaks, took it a little easy. So that took a couple hours, which was fine. And I personally thought that the interview went well, and we're gonna do our best to like be able to use the footage and like voice like the lines that you said, not lines, but like the dialogue that you said.
Yeah.
And be able to scatter it around the documentary and really do your story justice. So hopefully, that plays out well.
I was all over the place. There was no direction. There was
Yeah,
no
we-
idea. I literally just sat in the couch. It was freezing fucking cold. I had like 2 jackets on and just started talking about what happened to me in the last like year and a half.
Yeah, we didn't give Rudy any direction at all because we just wanted to keep the story to be genuine, because the way Rudy tells it is so down to earth, and he already does like an amazing job telling it. Like, we don't have to tell him what to do. There were just some sections where we had to ask him some questions because of things we wanted to possibly include in the documentary. But besides that, we let Rudy say his things, and we told him, hey man, like, say whatever you want, anything that comes to mind, whatever we're gonna keep, and whatever we're gonna cut. And that was that. That's why it took a while, but that's okay. Because then afterwards we went to Ring of Kerry, and that was awesome. We had a race there before the sunset, and the Cliffs of Kerry. What the fuck did I say?
Ring of Kerry.
We were already in the Ring of Kerry. We were driving to the cliffs, and we had a race there before sunset because the fucking cliffs closed at 4:30, and I didn't realize that until I put it in the GPS, and I was like, how the fuck can someone close the cliffs? But apparently they can, so we had to rush there, And when we finally got there, it was windy as fuck.
The most wind I have ever experienced. The most wind power I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah, this man right here, bless his heart, he's a lighter guy. He started flying away with the wind. I had to hold this man down so he wouldn't fly away. The minute I let go, he's like rolling on the ground.
So basically, like me and John like started running up to the cliffs, right? Because there was a parking lot and you had to run up, and Rudy was like behind us. And when we got there, it wasn't like so bad. Like it was still really powerful, but as we got to the other viewing section, because they closed off one because of the wind, you could really start feeling the power, and I had to hold on to the railing. And we can't show you video footage of this, but hopefully it lands in the documentary, maybe in the after section, wherever we see it fit. But I had to hold on to the railing as the wind was blowing me away, and like John was like videotaping me, and like my body was just and like my shirt and like everything was just flying up.
As Jude was like falling down the hill from the wind, I was like trying to shoot him, but I was also like just leaning forward, barely holding on, trying to shoot this man as he's falling down the hill.
And then we got to like the very top, and the very top was when like the wind was really picking up. And at that point, like we took some photos there, we shot some videos, we took some selfies, and then we were like, okay, we have to head back because it is closing. So when we were heading back, John and Rudy were like ahead of me, and I was like behind them shooting videos of them. And while I was shooting them, the fucking wind starts blowing me, and I have to like get on the ground because it's gonna blow me away. If I jumped, it would have pushed me like 10 meters in front of me. So I had to like get on the ground, and I was trying to get up, but I kept getting blown down. And I kept getting pushed, and Rudy came and saved me. So thank you, Rudy.
Yeah, lucky for me, I'm a fat ass, so the wind has a hard time blowing me away. Not so lucky for Jude.
No. I mean, I was like, Rudy, please save me. And there's like footage. I was still trying to shoot as much as I can, but you can see like my camera like go up into the sky. It was
that
a
was
good
a lot
time.
of fun. Yeah, I never experienced anything like that, so it was really cool.
And then after that, we went to like a nearby little fishing town and had some fish and chips there. At first, we didn't find anything, any like places that were open. We found bars, but their kitchen weren't open, which doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. And then we like passed by another bar on the way back to the car, and bars, and
what?
Bars. Never mind. And then Rudy saw that one of the bars were open and told us, and we were like, okay, but they're serving food, and Rudy was like, there are people right next to them that were eating.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were like, okay. So we went there and we had fish and chips. I think that was the first fish and chips you guys had.
Trips of the trip.
And what do you guys think about? And we had you guys had Guinness.
Irish Guinness for the first time.
So what did you guys think about the Guinness and the fish and chips?
Well, the Guinness. I had the Guinness in Canada, and I had the Guinness in Ireland. And the Guinness in Ireland is a tad bit better than the Guinness in Canada. It still kind of tastes the same in a way. You still recognize it as Guinness, but the one in Ireland is just a lot tastier. You just gotta try it for yourself to see.
Yeah, that's my first time having Guinness, and like first time having it like fresh poured or whatever. And the cream, very delicious.
Yeah.
I never really thought the cream would be so good, but like that foam on top, very, very good. I like beer, but I've never actually like wanted a beer. This is probably the closest I've gotten to like actually being like, beer's not bad. I actually might like order this like at a restaurant. It was kind of good. And then the fish and chips. This was our first fish and chips of the trip. Mm-hmm. So far on this trip, we've had fish and chips 4 times. And how would you rank this one out of the 4?
I would say second place.
Second place?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say this is my 3rd place for the fish and chips. Not because it's bad, but because the other 2 are really good.
I didn't get fish and chips as much as you guys did, but I did. This was my first fish and chips of the trip as well, and I would say that it was really good. I would probably rank it. Like, just like the food place in general, I'd probably rank it like a 3 on my list.
3 out of, like a 3 out of 10 or no?
Like 3 out of...
best?
Third best, yeah, third best.
So this was the Moorings Guest House and Seafood Restaurant.
Yes.
Very good fish and chips.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
And everyone was like, it it was really nice. Like I really enjoyed the atmosphere there. And then we drove home, and then we just had a chillaxed evening. We just put the videos into our laptops and got ready for the next day, which was the big day.
Big day.
The big one.
So Rudy, what did we do on that day? What was the big day? How would you recall the morning?
The morning. You were rushing me.
Classic.
Like, Rudy, we gotta go. Rudy, I'm gonna start the car. I'm gonna leave. This man's always ready to bounce, and then I'm always like going at the speed of slow, all the time, because I'm just coming off these Dookie Ahmeds, so I'm still slow as fuck. So it takes me a while to get ready, and then eventually we get ready and we drive to what was it called? Let me look up the name right here. It's in Gaelic. It's
Carrigtwohill?
Oh yeah, that's the one. Carrigtwohill Mountain.
Yeah.
The tallest mountain in Ireland. It's 1,038 meters tall in elevation.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
1,038.
Well, that's the whole mountain.
That's the whole mountain. That's like the top of the peak summit.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
We hiked for like an hour and a half just to get to the base of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And from there we started climbing this thing called the Devil's Ladder.
Rudy, before you keep going.
Yeah.
When we were on our way to the Devil's Ladder, these two guys, I mean John.
Yeah.
John and Rudy were having some second thoughts, and they were like, we were a little bit concerned about Rudy, because for some backstory, like Rudy is getting off the meds, so he is a little bit like he gets tired really easily, and when we were in the Virginia in our USA trip earlier this year, it was even worse for him. So we were like, okay, we can't push Rudy too much. But this trip, I told Rudy specifically, I said, Rudy, in Virginia, we were supposed to do a big mountain hike as well, 6 hours. And we were like, okay, maybe let's not do that hike. So we didn't do it. And then now I told Rudy on the way to Ireland, I was like, listen, man, you got a pass on that Virginia hike, but you're not getting a pass on this hike. We're doing this hike no matter what. And on the way there, John was like, I don't know if we should do this. And I was like, John, listen, Rudy can do it and he will do it. And, I believe in him 110%.
Yeah, I would say for this hike, I had suboptimal fitness levels. But Jude did not stop believing me. His optimism was almost annoying.
John was like, Jude, like, I'm thinking about Rudy, and I'm like, I'm thinking about Rudy too.
But just for the record, I was thinking about Rudy, but in a more parental way, I guess. I know we can push Rudy, but like this, just to me, is like looking at the mountain from the base.
Yeah, it
looks
intimidating.
Not only does it look intimidating,
daunting,
but
yeah.
it looks like dangerous because we had a time limit too. If we didn't get back before the sun was down, we'd be like trapped on top of the mountain. So I just wanted to be sure for everybody's safety that we weren't letting pride get in the way of our safety.
It was it the winter solstice? Is that what it's called? It's the shortest day of the year, and we chose that day to climb the mountain.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh well, the plan was we were supposed to actually get there earlier, but somebody took a little too long in the morning.
Listen.
Anyways.
We all slept in a bit. It's not always on me. Okay?
Okay, but I can sleep in and then get ready and out of the house in like 10 minutes.
Okay, well that sounds like a you problem.
So we got to the base, we got to the parking lot around like 9:30, and that was what I thought that was early, and we were like, okay, it's gonna take 6 hours average. That's the average it takes to do the hike. So we're like, okay, we have a little bit of time, and we wanted to get back before 5 or before 6, because that's usually when it gets dark. So yeah, so that's just like a bit of a timeline, but yeah, I mean, where were we after that? I'm kind of lost.
Well, first like Jude said, when we were walking to the base of the mountain, which was maybe like a 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometer. I don't know. It was
2 kilometers.
It was pretty long.
It was a long walk to get to the base of the mountain.
I think it was much longer than 2 kilometers. You can walk a kilometer in like 20, 30 minutes or something.
Rudy,
Yeah.
can I?
Oh sure, yeah, go ahead.
It was like 5 kilometers at least just to walk to the base of the mountain, and that was already tough. So, but we started eating more. We started getting more in the groove. We saw a lot, like not decent. We saw like a couple of people like passing us. More people going to hike the Ireland's tallest mountain.
And also, on the way there, we saw a ram.
No, wait, we'll show it later.
Okay, I'll show it later. But we saw a ram, and the ram looked at us, like just staring us down, and kept going, "Bah!" And then, naturally, as any sane individual would do, we replied. We're like, "Bah!" And then the ram immediately just starts like following us, saying "bah," and then we're going "bah," and then Jude's like, "Yo, stop fucking with the ram. You don't want him to like fucking run us down or something."
No, there was that ram, and then the ram after that was on top of a hill looking to charge us. It was just ready to it was like its back was lit. It was like ready to charge, and I was like, okay, you guys can fuck around and talk to that ram, but that ram we're not talking to. Like we're getting the fuck out of here. But yeah, we got. I was just convincing John and Rudy that we were able to do it. Like I was repetitively telling them that I believe that we can do it and we're more than capable, and they told me the same thing on the other mountain, that we weren't prepared for it in any way, and I was like, it doesn't matter, we still did it. We can do this one. We'll just take breaks, we'll take it easy, and if it gets too dark or if it gets too treacherous, we'll turn back. And Rudy ended up deciding. John said that once we get to the branching point that Rudy will decide if we keep going or not, and Rudy decided let's keep going.
Yeah. I figured, like, we're all the way in Ireland, dudes. We just hiked almost 2 hours to get to this base of the mountain, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is gonna be hard as fuck. Might as well do it.
Yeah, I just want to set the scene, because in none of the photos we take, none of the videos we take, can you possibly compare the scale and the grandeur of how high this mountain looks from down below.
No.
In some of the pictures, it's like an optical perspective, like it doesn't look that far, but you're looking up and it is
huge.
What you would describe to be a mountain. Like it is a mountain in front of you.
Yeah. And the first mountain that we did hike, we were also kind of amazed at how tall it was, but the route there, it was like a windy road that kept going up steadily. And we were like, okay, this makes sense. This one, at one point, there was no road. We had no idea where to go. We were like, is that Devil's Mountain? And then we just walked. Mm-hmm. And whatever was in front of us, we walked over.
Yeah.
There was no set path. We could have went in a different direction, but we were like, okay, that looks like a Devil's Ladder, mm-hmm. So let's go there, and we did. And then once we were there, the best way I could possibly describe Devil's Ladder is like a bunch of rocks on top of one another. Like you're not walking, you're raising your whole foot and climbing.
Yeah.
Each rock, each step.
I would say if this is 90 degrees, which this is 90 degrees, the ascent from the base of the mountain to the top of the Devil's Ladder was maybe a 70-degree incline. So it wasn't walking, it was a rock scramble. And if you don't know what that is, basically just a bunch of rocks and you're climbing from rock to rock, all the way up. And it was like 800, so the whole Carrington Hill Mountain is 1,030 meters, but from the base of the mountain to top of Devil's Ladder, which is what you get to the top of Carrington Hill Mountain, was 850 meters. So it wasn't an 850 meter hike, it was an 850 meter climb.
Yeah.
Which
it was really insane. Cool. It was insane. We did a rock scramble back in Virginia, and we thought that was the best hike that we did. And now we did it in Ireland again, and it was the toughest, and it was the most fun hike I've ever been on.
Most rewarding.
Also, want to keep in mind, there was a stream going down this mountain,
yeah.
So the rocks were slippery. Mm-hmm. You could easily slip and fall, and the rocks weren't steady either. A lot of them were loose, so you could step on a rock or climb on a rock and it just falls right down the mountain.
Well, so basically the Devil's Ladder is kind of it's cut up into 2 sections, the first half and the second half, and the first half is a little bit less steep, probably what John said, 70 degrees. and once you get to that, like at that point, it's just rocks, and there are a lot of them are stable, like they're there, and the streams there are pretty wide as well. So there are a lot of them are like drenched in water, so you have to be really careful about your footing. And then once you get to that halfway point, we had a lunch break, we had PB&J, and we just admired the beautiful view and just the amount of progress we made so far. And at that point, it was I think it was like 12 or 12:30.
Yeah,
I'd say
about an hour to get to that point, or 30 minutes to get to that point, maybe. I don't know.
I'd say an hour maybe
To get halfway up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we got to that point, the second half, the increase in the angle, it's probably like 75, and that might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot. And at that point, instead of like big rocks that you can just step over, there's a lot of rocks, and there's a lot smaller. So what Rudy was saying, sometimes you'll step on a rock that you think looks safe, and a lot of them will just start sliding, so you'll slide as well, and that was not fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This hike is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
They put a lot of warnings how dangerous it is, and because it can be dangerous for sure. But we wanted to be sure, we wanted to be safe. We wanted to take a lot of breaks to make sure we were feeling all right.
There is a potential to fall to your death in this hike.
Yeah.
And with all that being said, while we were on our climb to the top, we witnessed maybe the greatest feat in all physical human existence that I have ever seen in my life. There was this man. Okay, so before we even got to the base of Devil's Ladder, we saw this guy, and he looked like a runner. He was running past us. He was just, running on the trail. I said hello, and he said something, I don't know, but he acknowledged us. He ran by. And then he was like, okay, cool, there's a runner on the trail.
Yeah.
Halfway up, okay, so a quarter of the way up, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
halfway
quarter.
up,
A quarter.
quarter of the way up to Devil's Ladder. We see this same man literally, like not even in hyperbole, literally running down the Devil's Ladder like a parkour ninja from rock to rock. Like, he wasn't even like, going fast. He was running down the Devil's Ladder.
He was like jumping and like pushing himself off. It was amazing. It was beautiful.
And the rocks are wet, and they're not steady. Yeah. At any moment, if he missteps, he could break his neck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This man was doing the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea who that guy was.
He ran all the way up the mountain, and then ran all the way back down.
By the time we were a quarter way up.
And I think what's cool, like you see that around when you hike a lot. Like we during this hike alone, we bumped into a lot of people from different places. Like some of them were locals, and we had like a nice little chat with them. They asked us where we're from, and I asked them for some advice. Because the trek and the hike is definitely, any advice is like would be much appreciated. And it was just really amazing, and I was blown away when I saw this man parkouring down like it was nothing. Like he just didn't give a fuck. Like he straight up said, "If I die, I die," and that was it. And it seemed like
said that, did he?
No,
but that's his attitude.
Yeah, that's his attitude.
Yeah. But like Rudy was saying, like this hike is not for the faint of heart. There were parts of the hike where you could just turn around and like look, and you can see the height that you're up there, and there's no harness. Like there's no safety harness. You're there, and if you like do like one misstep and like lean back too much or whatever,
you fall to your death.
You're done.
And for my American audience, like the top of Devil's Ladder is like 2,400 feet, and it's the steepest. And we went on your descent. It's a lot scarier.
Yeah.
Because you were looking down like 2,500 feet.
Yeah.
Or 800 meters.
But we'll get
there. But this guy just running down like a 70-degree inclined mountain was just the most insane
amazing
thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of beautiful footage and shots for the documentary, and there was one shot when Rudy and John were like on a break, and we were resting, and I was like, okay, John, I'm gonna go up there ahead, and I'm gonna put my tripod down, and I'm gonna like set up the camera, and so I did that, and I had to climb back down. It was fun, but we had a cool shot of us three climbing. We got some climbing shots of Rudy, and it was just overall a really fun experience. We took a lot of breaks. really took our time, and we just made sure that each one of us like got up there, you know. And John, also shout out to him because he carried the tripod up there, and I know that was no easy feat. You had to like, we all had backpacks on, and that shit had gear in it too, and we were just trying to climb this thing as fast as we could because we knew we were stuck on that. Like we were
had a timeline.
Yeah, we had a timeline. We had a time limit, you know. And once we finally reached up there, it was just so rewarding. Like the view, I got up there first, but I was waiting for John and Rudy a little bit. And when I saw like John's reaction was just mind blown at this view, because once you climb on top, you can see the other side of the mountain, and that is like a valley and with other mountains, and it's just stunning. It was stunning. And Rudy,
sun beaming through the clouds, you can see the rays of light like across the whole valley. Oh my god.
And Rudy got up there and he was like amazed as well, and I think it was just a great moment for everybody, you know. We climbed that together. Like we were, nobody like went up ahead and ran up ahead and you know, just like ditched the other. Like we waited, we were like, okay, let's take a break here, let's have our snacks, we ate peanut butter jelly together. We just, you know, kind of taking it all in together, and it was a really nice bonding experience just to be able to like kind of like experience this kind of
do that challenge together.
Yeah. And once we were up there, it was probably like 2:00, and we were trying to find a way up to the summit, and I was asking people who were there too, and they were like, oh yeah, there's this really obvious path up there, but we couldn't find it. We were up there for maybe an hour, and we were trying to find it, and we really couldn't. And the summit was covered in like cloud and snow. So
and
even
ice.
And ice. Yeah, there were parts of the summit which I would step on the snow and I would just start sliding down. And we couldn't find this path. We spent quite a while looking for it, and we could not find an obvious path. And so we just made this decision to call it a day and not climb the summit and just start climbing down, because it was getting a little bit darker. The winds were picking up there, and there were sometimes there were moments there were some clouds rolling by. And I think that was the best decision that we could have made that day.
Didn't let pride get in the way of
If we decided to get all the way to the summit, that would have been an hour and a half to a 2-hour extra climb. Just to get there. And by the time we climbed back to the top of Devil's Ladder, it would have been nearly pitch black darkness. And you would be scaling down a very steep mountain in pitch black darkness, and you would most likely got yourself killed.
And not only that, but like that mountain has several ways to getting up it, and every single way, like the descent is really scary. Like we saw a website and said there are no safe descents. And so the worst thing that possibly could have happened and would have probably happened is, since the summit was covered in clouds, if we even got up to the summit, me and John really love to just run around and take as many shots as we can, and you know, basic photographer shit. And like we would have probably gotten disoriented, and we wouldn't have found a way to go back down the same way we went up, and we would have probably gotten lost and got onto a different side of the mountain that we didn't know, and that would have been an extra like couple hours if we did get lost. And that just would not have been fun. I think
it was not only just like cloudy, like it was thick fog. It was a kind of fog where if you hold your hand up against your face, you would not see it. It was that thick.
And it was really windy too.
So I mean, I was a little bit sad that we weren't able to climb the summit, but I think I think that decision was really essential. And honestly, like a lot of people, it's really cliche to say, but I think the journey is a lot more important than the destination. And I feel like if we even did make it up to the summit, we would have just been even more disappointed because we wouldn't have been able to see anything.
We got pretty close though. We got about 900 meters. It was only about 100 meters left, but it was probably the toughest 100 meters because of the snow, the ice, the wind, and the fog. So you know, we did what we came to do.
And it was still a really big accomplishment, I think, for everybody. And we got some really beautiful shots, and we just sat down and took in the views before finally making it back down. And my Mac is gonna die, so I'm gonna grab my shit. All right, where were we?
Coming down the mountain.
Yeah. So once we decided to start climbing down the mountain after we got all the shots that we needed when we were up there, and after we took in all the views, it was fucking scary. Like, at least with the ascent, you could like lean forward and you can like focus on the rocks on the ground underneath you and not look at the height. But when you're climbing down a 75 angle incline, it is horrifying. And there were times when I had to catch myself using the tripod, and actually my tripod broke halfway through, which was really sad. But I still use it as a cane, and it's now dead. I was gonna leave it on the mountain, but Rudy convinced me to bring it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is horrifying, and you have this insane view in front of you. And John's like, guys, whatever you do not look forward. And Rudy's like, I looked. And it is, like, we probably spent 3 hours climbing down that mountain.
Maybe not 3 hours. It was definitely faster going down than up.
No, I think it just didn't feel that long.
3 hours, I think.
Because it wasn't that hard going down.
Well,
physically.
Well, we started the descent at like 2:40 and we got down at like 4:30.
No, like 5. Like 5 something.
Yeah, it was pitch black when we started walking Hag's Tooth.
Let me see.
You got the
I took a picture like while we were down there.
You got the receipts.
Yeah, you got the
I
receipts.
do have the receipts. Here.
Is that the descent?
It was
That's the top.
It was like no. This was on the side of the road.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
4:53.
Yeah, and that's already midway. So I would say like 2 hours to get down.
Yeah, but it did not feel like 2 hours. It was just a constant like survival.
Yeah, every step was like I was focusing. I was on my bus. Jude was ballsy. All right, Jude was standing up most of the time and hopping down from one rock to the next. Not as fast as the runner guy, but just like each time he was standing up. I was on my butt and I was just scooting down from the rocks, to prevent me from dying.
Not only was this man like sprinting down the mountain, he was jumping and like was like fucking locking his knees. At the end of it, his like knees were all fucked from the mountain. And furthermore, this man right here was aiming his ass at me and farting in my face with the wind blowing it upwind to my face. I could fucking taste that shit.
Bro, Jude was giving me anxiety. I was literally shitting myself because Jude was like standing up and moving from the rock. I'm like, bro, get on your ass and start sliding.
I was giving John anxiety farts and Rudy was taking it.
Nah, but for real though, like even when we got to the mountain, I had to take a shit, but I held that in.
Yeah, and I held it for you.
Yeah. Poor guy.
At least 5 times I heard Rudy be like, "Did you fart?"
I was like, "Damn it, John!"
Oh my god. But yeah, the way I climbed down it was not good for my knees. I think we went to a restaurant afterwards, and even at the restaurant when I got up, my knees were fucked. We're gonna get back to this, but there were stairs to go to the toilet, and I could not get up. I was actually like just really close to not even going to the washroom because my knees were that fucked. But yeah, we got down halfway through. We finished our peanut butter and jelly, and then we made the second half of the climb down, and yeah, I would say when we got down there, it was starting to get dark at the very base of the mountain. And then when we were like halfway through and we were walking, it went pitch black. So I think when we decided to leave and climb down, that was the best possible time. Mm-hmm. And because you did not want to be climbing down that shit in pitch black darkness. Sure, it might have helped you not realizing how high you were, but it was really essential that you were able to see what next step you were going to take. And we were just really lucky that at any point from when we were on top of that mountain to climbing down, or even climbing up, but at any point of the climb and the descent, there was no rain. Mm-hmm. Because the minute it started raining, we would have been fucked. Because at least for majority of the rocks were dry, so if you put your foot down, like you wouldn't slip. But if it was raining, we would have been stuck in a waterfall climbing down, and we would have been drenched. And every step we would have taken would have been really slippery, and that would have probably resulted in a serious injury or like one of us just dying or all of us dying.
But it was amazing. The views were amazing. The experience, the journey. It was an all day thing. Like we got there in the morning and we were in the car back like when it was pitch black. So I think that was definitely my favorite part of the trip.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. Like we really went out. We went all out that day and we really gave it our all. And you know, both mentally and physically, we just really had to be on it that day. And I'm really proud of like all of us for being able to say we did that. You know, we didn't half-ass it, and you know, we were able to go down safely, and we were able to go up safely and enjoy our time. And no one got injured, no one got hurt, no one was bitching and complaining, and no one died. So I'd say it's a win.
That's a dub.
That's a dub. And then we had our second fish and chip spot afterwards in Killarney.
Yes.
And so what was that called?
It's called, I think, Quincy's or something.
Yeah.
That was the one where you can pick the fish, right?
Yeah. Quinlan's seafood bar. And what did you guys think about it? Because I had salmon, but these guys had the fish and chips.
I think that fish and chips, and John might disagree with me on this, I think it was the best spot. Because at the time, we were starving from climbing up and down a mountain, and you could pick what kind of fish you wanted in your fish and chips. So you could really just like pick and choose. It was so fancy.
I would say that was my second favorite fish and chip spot. It was really good too, but the fish was maybe even the best fish. All right, so the fish was the best fish, and it had like a tempura batter almost. It was really good, but the chips were kind of lackluster. That's why I put it at second. But it was still really good, like very close to first.
Yeah, I would say it was one of the best places that we ate at. I had salmon, and holy fuck. I don't know if it was because of the climb or because of that. It was just a good spot, but that salmon was amazing. It like melted in my mouth, and the flavors were just so good, and I was just, I loved every single bit of it. I was gonna order a second one, but then I was like, fuck it, I just ate all my fries, and Rudy didn't notice. But I ate them all, and I thought he was gonna say something and be proud of me.
This is because I flamed him on the mountain.
Yeah, Rudy flamed me on the mountain and shit for not eating as much as everybody else here. But you know what? It doesn't matter. That day, we climbed the mountain, and I ate more than John at the end of it.
Well,
John wasn't feeling the chips, but I love the chips.
I wouldn't say you ate more than me, but you ate.
Yeah, the salmon was a little.
Salmon was big, and I still had most of the chips.
The fish was your fish was bigger. Okay. We're cutting that up.
No, I don't think you guys understand, like, my criticism of Jude about his eating. I did it in a joking way. I was like, yo, Jude, you get a plate of food, and you sniff it, and you're full. And then this guy goes on later that day, and he finishes his food, and I don't even notice.
Yeah, Rudy didn't even notice. He was too tired. I mean, we were all tired. At that point, we were eating and nobody was talking. Like we were just eating it and just enjoying our food, and then that was it. And then we went home after that. We went to the grocery store.
Rudy tried his Riz game.
Rudy, I triple dog dared Rudy to talk to some girls on the way back, and me and John were laughing at him, and it was so funny. Because when we were watching Rudy go up to these girls, me and John, we were just like watching on the sidelines, and this girl, one of the girls, there were 3 girls there, and one of them, their dad was standing like right next to me and John, and was like, one of them's my daughter, okay? And we laughed even more. I don't even know like why we told Rudy to do this.
No, like we were just walking, and then Jude just looks at these girls. And he's like, yo, Rudy, what if you just go talk to those girls and tell them Canadian? I'm like, nah. I was like saying, don't tempt me or something. I'm like,
oh yeah. Rudy's like, don't tempt me, and I was like,
I dare you. I'm like, no, man, I can't. And it's like, I triple dog dare you, do it. And I'm like, oh my god, literally, no way out. He triple dog dares me, and he's like, yo, just go up to them and say I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all I told Rudy to do. I don't even know what like like what possessed me to do that, but I just wanted to have some fun, and I wanted you to.
This man influenced me. So I walk up to them and I'm like walking up like this, you know, I'm doing a bit of a crip walk. I see a piece of Coca-Cola on the floor, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? And I just walk up to them out of nowhere. They're in the middle of a conversation, right? They don't expect. They think I'm just gonna walk by. I interrupt the conversation by just blatantly and saying out loud, "Hi, I'm from Canada. Where are you from?" And then there was like a 5-second silence. They all looked at me. They're like, and then one of the chicks there, she's like, "Sorry, no hables español." I don't know, and I'm like, "Okay, thanks. Have a good day." And I walked away. Stupidest shit ever.
Oh my god.
And then we drove home, and that was the funniest shit. We laughed about it all the way on the ride back. Honestly, Rudy's got game, guys.
Shut the fuck up.
And then afterwards we went back and did our usual evening routine, and then we had to pack up everything in the morning.
Yeah, well, we woke up so we were leaving the Airbnb, supposed to leave the Airbnb by 10, and Jude is usually the one awake first, so I was like, I'm not gonna set my alarm. I'm just gonna wait for Jude to wake up and then tell us all to get ready.
Because every single morning I've been doing that. Every single morning I like barge into their rooms and I'm like, okay guys, time to go. I'm the annoying one being like, okay guys, we have to leave, let's go, let's pack everything up. And then the night before when we got back, like John was like, I was like, okay guys, we should probably pack everything up beforehand so then we can take it easy in the morning after. And John's like, nah, it's fine. We gotta do laundry anyways, and I'll just, I'll wake up early. I'll wake up at like 8 or 9, and I'll get everything ready. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I was like, okay, I'll set my alarm for 9 o'clock. And I slept the earliest. I always sleep the earliest. And I set my alarm for 9, and I woke up at 9 exactly. And I was like, okay, I'll just stay in bed for like 30 minutes because, we're just gonna chill. I trust, John said that he would wake up 8 or 9, and so I thought that they were awake right now and cleaning and getting everything ready. But to my surprise, at 9:30, I get out of my room and everything from the night before was there and nothing was fixed. And I go into the room and these two numbskulls are still sleeping. And I'm like, guys, we have to leave the Airbnb in 30 fucking minutes. Wake the fuck up.
Yeah, I know I said that I would wake up early and start cleaning, but I think I prefaced that with like I might or maybe I will. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. And I didn't tell Jude, but I assumed Jude would also just wake up then and start, cleaning. So I was like, I'll just wake up when Jude wakes up.
So I had to wake these two fuckers up. And I was just zooming through the house, like cleaning and everything. And I was like, Rudy, time to get up. Let's get up. Let's go. And Rudy's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, John, let's get this done. I gave John some rolls, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some stuff too. So I packed everything up and everything. And I was like, okay, Rudy, I just need you to wash the dishes. He's like, okay. And then 9:45 rolls by. Rudy still has not gotten up, or he's getting up, and he still has not started on the dishes, and I see this motherfucker brushing his fucking teeth and taking his sweet ass time, and I'm about this close to losing my shit, and I'm like, I make my coffee, I pack up all my shit, put it in the car. I'm like checking out with John. We're rearranging the furniture because we rearranged it before, and then putting everything away. And it's like, yeah, it's 9:45, and I see Rudy's not even anywhere close to being ready. So I hop on the dishes. John's doing the laundry, like taking all the laundry out, and I'm doing all the dishes, which we have a shit ton of dishes to do. And I finished them, and it's like 9:55, and I'm like, guys, we have to go. Rudy has his toothbrush in his mouth, walking towards the sink, and he looks at the sink. And it's empty, and he just walks away. He's like, job done. I did it.
Yeah, that's me.
He's like, I don't know when, but somewhere in between when I got the fuck up and started doing my brushing my teeth, I did the dishes. And then he was like slowly putting shit into his luggage and changing, and I was pissed off out of my fucking mind. And I was like, we have to fucking go. Like, there's no way I'm gonna pay these late fees because of fucking Rudy. And I was so pissed off. And Rudy, you can continue with your fucking point of view.
I'm putting my stuff in my luggage, and Jude just grabs shit and just shoves it in the luggage. He's like, let's go. I'm like, yo, that's in the wrong place. You gotta put it in the other bag. And this man just keeps at it. He's like, Rudy, I don't give a fuck. We gotta go. And so eventually I close the luggage, and I'm like, just walking up to the door with the luggage. And then Jude's like just honking, like, beep, 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 just trying to get me in the fucking car. And I'm like, yo, chill, we're already outside. What's the deal? I'm walking in the car, and then Jude is like fucking molding in the fucking driver's seat.
Bro, like, I don't know if it was that day or the day before, but we were supposed to leave, and fucking Rudy's out here. He's like John's ready. Like, he's ready. He's out of the house already. And Rudy's like, he's like looking around the house, and he's like, did I forget anything? Did I lose? And then he's like, oh, let me check something really quickly. And I'm just standing at the doorway, losing my fucking shit. And John's outside like for 10 fucking minutes, and Rudy's just like, I think I got everything. And then he's like, oh, I have to do this. I think I forgot something. And then he's like, okay, now I'm gonna put on my shoes and I gotta tie my shoes. And I'm like, Rudy, tie your fucking shoes in the car. We gotta go. And he's like, the car's cramped. I can't tie my shoes in the car.
It is. Fucking John's seat is right up against me. I can't kneel down and tie them.
Tiny ass European car.
Hey, and you know what's bad when John gets back into the house, back into the front door. He's like, yo, is everything okay in here? because it's been so fucking long. Anyways, yeah, John, what was your like?
It wasn't that long. It was maybe like 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, shut your ass up,
bro. I was just doing stuff, getting things together, got myself in the car, and then by the end, the dog came back, and I was just playing with the dog outside.
No, what was your perspective in the morning? We had a fucking pack.
Oh yeah, no, like. I woke up. No, I think the most memorable thing is like I wake up to Jude being like, "Hey, we gotta get up," and I'm like, "What time is it?" And he's like it's 9:25. We have 40 minutes left. And I'm like, I get out of bed and I'm just like, I'm so tired. We literally just climbed a mountain the other day. And so I'm just getting things together, and I'm just doing the dishes a little bit, doing like some finishing touches on the house, making sure we don't get any like bad reviews. Like these guys were sloppy, so I was doing a little bit like wiping stuff down, taking the trash out, whatever. But it was definitely way more of a hectic morning than I wanted. We haven't really had a lot of sleep this week.
No sleep. Well, Rudy's had a lot of sleep in the car.
I'm still coming off the meds. These meds, when I was on them, I was sleeping maybe 16 hours minimum. It was a lot of fucking sleep that these meds put me on.
Anyways, we had a drive to Galway for our second Airbnb, and on the way we did Cliffs of Moher. We went there, and that was pretty amazing sights.
Mm-hmm. We have broken laws there.
No broken laws.
Okay, we didn't break any laws.
Definitely didn't climb over to the top.
No trespassing.
No trespassing.
And I'm not saying there's a fine, but 2,000 euros is a lot of money.
I'm not saying that one of us climbed over and a Karen walked past and said 2,000 euros, and I was about to beat her ass. But I'm not saying that happened. But we went back because we were getting pretty hungry, and I did the giddy in front of the tour bus. I had the giddy in front of, Is it gritty or giddy?
It's the gritty.
The gritty. I had the gritty.
The giddy.
Man, doing the giddy.
And then we had a drive to the rest of the. Like we drove into Galway. We actually parked there and stayed there for we caught the Christmas market just in time.
The last day.
When it was the last day, and we walked around and we checked out the venues and stuff, but a lot of them by the time we got there was closing down, and we got some food there. We all had crepes, yeah.
Delicious.
And we just walked around and just soaked it in. It was pretty good, the lights were pretty, and the atmosphere was okay. You know, they had some Christmas music going on and stuff, but we weren't really too interested in like any of the extra stuff that they had. We did some light shopping for Christmas gifts, and then we went to the Airbnb, and at that point we had no idea where the fuck it was. It was in the middle of nowhere, and the GPS was like, okay, and the Airbnb host had to show us there.
Shout out Carmel, very nice.
Shout out Carmel, she was a really, really great host, very welcoming, and she showed us around, and and at the Airbnb there was a hot tub, so we decided to crack open a cold one, and by cold one we mean Cokes, and we had some candy, and we just hopped in the hot tub for the whole night. And it was really good.
Like
we were there
3
for
hours.
We were there for 4 hours, 3 hours.
In the hot tub.
Yeah.
Just talking.
Just chatting, and it was great. I really enjoyed that experience, honestly. After that, I think we bonded a little closer than we already are.
Hell yeah, I saw things that I didn't think I wanted to see.
Okay.
That was your fault.
Listen. Dudes. This man right here was like, hey, let's play chicken. Starts to get up and starts undressing his underwear and seeing how far I would go down before I would look away. Me, I ain't no bitch. You know, mom ain't raised no bitch. So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, go on. Yeah, let me see.
I know you wanted to see that shit.
I want to see that shit, yo. I want to grab a piece of that, you know?
Nah. That's only for Tori. I wouldn't be doing that.
Rudy?
And then he pulls it up, and then I'm like, yo, it's my turn, right? So I'm doing the same shit as him. And he's like, and right before he could look away, I just fucking flash him.
I see this man shaft. Alright? No balls. Balls were hidden behind the shaft. But I saw hella shaft. A little head too.
Rudy's the one that wanted us to skinny dip. Bro.
I did, yeah. I wanted to skinny dip. That would be funny.
Fuck no.
What are you shy about, bro?
I'm not shy about nothing, but
He's seen all of me, bro. It's only you now.
Bro, that's my cousin, bro. I always shot my dick out for my cousin.
You've already touched his balls before.
Anyways. Oh no. Anyways, that's just your seat.
Okay, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
After that, the power went out, actually. At like 2 a.m, the power went out while we were in the tub. So all the lights in our Airbnb went off. And we were like, what the fuck is going on here? And nothing was on. And we couldn't even turn on the lights inside the wagon at all. Like, nothing was turning on. And it was like 2 a.m, so we couldn't tell Carmel what was happening. And so we decided, okay, fuck it, let's run inside the wagon and just stay there for the rest of the night and just go to bed.
Yeah.
And then in the morning after that...
That was Thursday.
So Friday morning, we decided, we slept in a little bit. And then we were like, okay, let's get some tattoos today. So we called up a couple tattoo shops, and one of them was open for walk-ins. So we were like, okay, let's go for the walk-ins. And so this morning, actually, I was really upset with Rudy and how long he was taking. And John was already in the car, and I was like, okay, Rudy, we're gonna leave the house by like 12 or like 11. I think it was 11 or 12.
That was last morning. This morning was just driving. All
oh no, so then we left the house at 1 because we left somewhere in the morning because we woke up, I don't know, like 11 or 10?
Yeah.
I think it was 11.
We woke up at like 11 something.
11.
I woke up at 10. Wait, John woke up at 10:25. You woke up at 7 but went back to sleep.
Yeah, and I woke up at 10.
Yeah.
So I think we were supposed to leave by 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Either or. But John was already ready, and I told Rudy, okay, we're leaving at this specific time. And he's like, okay. And me and John are waiting in the car, and I'm just honking my horn at Rudy, and I'm telling him, hurry the fuck up. Hurry up, because first of all, the tattoo shops close at 6. And we wanted to get tatted, and we were like, okay, there's 3 of us. So we're like, okay, I wanted to accumulate I wanted to make sure that each of us had the appropriate amount of time to get tattooed. And we had to drive 30 minutes to Galway from our Airbnb. So I was just honking my horn at Rudy, and it was just, Yeah, and then it turned out Rudy locked the Airbnb when me and John we were like, okay, fuck it, we're not gonna lock the Airbnb. But Rudy impressed us and locked the Airbnb and took the key, and we were like, oh my god. Anyways, we got to Galway Park, and then walked the rest of the way, and we went to Galway Tattoos where we got our brand new Ram tattoos. These two guys wanted to get Goofy tattoos.
It would have been way better.
But I was like, fuck no.
Yeah.
And John called his girlfriend the night before, and we were like, I was telling his girlfriend, isn't this a shit idea?
No.
And she was like, yes.
No.
And she was like, John, this is a horrible fucking idea. And it's crazy because before the call, John was like, oh, I'm gonna get Goofy tattooed. And then now after the call, he was like, I'm not gonna get it anymore.
I'm not trying to get bullied for the rest of my life by my girlfriend.
But it's okay if his cousin and his best friend Rudy does it.
Yeah, nah, but I still might do it. The tattoo idea is just the words Goofy tattoo, and it's hilarious because every time you be like, yo, what's that tattoo? This is my Goofy tattoo, and Rudy and I love the tattoo idea. Jude's a hater.
And John wants to get it like in the handwriting of the tattoo artist, which makes it even fucking worse. Because because if that tattoo artist has a really shit handwriting, that is horrible.
It's hilarious.
No, it's so bad.
Jude ain't got no funny bone in his.
I really do not, and these guys realize that this trip.
Should we show them the Ram tattoo?
Yeah. So me and Rudy, we got our tattoos, but our tattoo artist who was hungover, which I didn't know until afterwards.
Yo, shout out Jeff, yo. He was talking to the front receptionist, and he was like, yo, I'm hungover.
Shout out Jeff.
So we came up with a Ram tattoo to commemorate our trip here, and because we saw a bunch of rams and sheep when we were climbing the levels ladder and when we were climbing the other mountain.
Yeah.
And so me and Rudy got the same one. We came in there and we were like, hey, can you make this design for us? I showed him a picture of a ram and we asked it for American traditional style. And I really liked how the tattoo came out overall. It looks pretty good.
The reason I don't have the tattoo is because he literally just didn't feel like tattooing 3 times that day with the same tattoo.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, I'll do 2 of you, but I don't feel like doing 3. So I'm gonna do my tattoo back when I get home, and I'm gonna do it in line work because I don't put like shading on my tattoos just because I'm weird like that or something.
Which is hilarious because you always tell this man to shade.
Yeah, because.
Anyways, I think overall that was a good tattoo experience. It was 150 euros for that, and it was pretty good, to be honest. Afterwards, we asked for recommendations for which fish and chip spot to hit after, and they gave us a pretty good one, so we went to that one afterwards. And but before that, we went a little bit more Christmas shopping, and Rudy did his busking there. So why don't you tell a little bit about your busking?
So we were chilling. We were being chilling, and we were taking videos of the buskers that were there around. And I went up there and I dropped a tent to get a CD. And he was like, "Oh, Merry Christmas, thank you." And then they finished the song, and then they started talking. It's like, "Hey, send us the videos you take." I'm like, "Yeah, cool." And it's like, "Oh, you're around here from the town?" And they're like, "Oh, we're from Canada." And wow, cool. We did a little more small talking, and then John's like, "Hey, Rudy plays the guitar," and he's like, "Yo, you play the guitar?" I'm like, "He plays a little, you know."
Humble brag.
King.
Humble brag.
And it's like, "Oh, do you sing?" "Yeah, sometimes." And it's like, and then he just takes it off and he hands it to me, and it's like, "Here, you want to play?" And I'm like, "Okay." I put the guitar on, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a nice guitar." I noodle on it for a bit. I looked to the right, and there was a bass player there. And this man, he told me his name. It was like something Eno or something Dino or something like that. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Shout out to him if you ever
shout out
watching
to that
this.
bass player. Yeah, amazing bass player. I looked at him and like, "Hey, do you know Superstition?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Stevie Wonder fan. This and that." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I pull out my guitar pick. I start playing, and then. Right as I started playing, the other guy, Jeff, he comes up, "Hey, you want a guitar pick?" Started handing me the guitar pick, but I already had my own. And he's like, "Oh, okay." He puts it back, and I started playing. I started going, playing Superstition, did my thing.
It was awesome.
It was. I wasn't there unfortunately, but I
Yeah.
saw the video afterwards. It was great. Rudy's a great performer,
Oh,
and
thanks,
honestly,
man.
like, I was like, oh my god, I wish I saw it live.
Yeah, it was so cool seeing him out there, like playing in public, you know.
Yeah, it was my first time playing like that in a long time. Like ever since getting on these meds, I haven't been able to practice music properly in like over a year or something. So to be able to do that, and while it was like raining on you,
Yeah.
and it was like freezing cold, so you're like your fingers are all stiff. Like if any of you play guitar, you know how hard it is sometimes to play when you're not warmed up. So I had to do that, and pulled it off. It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And after that, we hit up like the
McDonough.
Our
yeah.
fourth fish and chips. Oh, so before that, we hit up another fish and chip spot called the Roadside Tavern. Jude got an unfortunate.
I saw salmon and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna get another salmon then, because I was like, okay, I liked it so much last time. And John was like, I don't know exactly if that's gonna be the same salmon that you ordered last time or if it's gonna be a different kind of salmon. And I was like, nah, it's fine, I'll order it. And then I ordered it, and it turned out John was right. It was just a bunch of like small cuts of salmon.
Yeah.
And it had like this specific potato thing that I've eaten before because of my work at a retirement home, and those potatoes specifically fuck up my stomach entirely for the whole night. So I couldn't eat any of that shit, and I ended up ordering fish and chips because I was like, fuck, I'm an idiot.
So the fish and chips at the Roadside Tavern, I would rate the fourth best out of 4. We had 4 fish and chips, and that was 4th best. It was the worst one we had. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't as good as the other ones because the fish, the taste wasn't as flavorful as the other ones in my opinion. The chips were alright, but it was still good. It was still good, just not the best.
Yeah.
What did you think about the fish and chips?
In the tavern,
Yeah.
they're pretty good. I'd say like rank 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
rank 3.
Actually, rank 4.
Rank 4.
Rank 4.
Yeah, I would say they're okay. Definitely the lowest in my rating. Doesn't mean that they're bad, but like the other places are just really great. So fast forward back to when we tried our final fish and chip spot. Not final for this trip, just final as if today, because we're not done the trip yet. We're still got Dublin tomorrow. But yeah, I thought the fish and chips we hit in Galway was pretty good, honestly. Like I'd probably rank it 1 or 2. Like that was really good fish and chips, and the chips themselves were pretty good as well. And yeah, overall that was just a really good experience.
Fish and chips. Yeah, I'd say that was my favorite fish and chips. McDonald's, really good fish. Maybe not the best, but like maybe tied for the best. But the chips were really good too, and the combination of both really pushed it over the top. And I had like a garlic sauce with it, was really good. And I had a Fanta, which was very good.
I think for you the chips were fresher, so maybe that's why you liked it more. Because mine, they weren't that hot. They were like lukewarm. And when I tried yours afterwards, when you didn't finish yours, they were still hot and they taste way better.
Oh yeah, that's probably it then.
That's probably it.
Yeah, and then after that we went back to the Airbnb, and we couldn't go to the hot tub this time because we had our tattoos. So and it was raining, so we couldn't do the bonfire. So we just stayed in the Airbnb and just relaxed. Had a nice fire going, and we showed Rudy some Love, Death, and Robots. And Rudy did
Amazing
not like.
show.
Rudy absolutely hates my favorite.
Yeah.
A killer riff, Beyond the Killer Riff.
Goofy odd.
But he loves my favorite episode, Sunny's Edge, which
Yeah.
is so good. Oh my
I wouldn't say love. I would say just okay with it.
Rudy's a big Love, Death,
Rudy's a
and Robots
fucking
hater.
Rudy's a fucking hater. We're gonna have another episode where Rudy specifically says why he hates Love, Death, and Robots, and I hope you guys tune in on that, because Rudy will be completely talking smack and conspiracy theories, and yeah.
Man, should I talk about it now or
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk about it.
We also
now.
watched a movie called Love and Monsters, which we thought was gonna be trashy and like funny bad, but it was actually done nicely. It wasn't a great movie, but it's a good movie.
I still thought it was pretty trashy, but that's just fine.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, well, you don't like Love, Death, and Robots, so does your opinion really matter?
Of course it is. It's all subjective.
I thought the movie was good. Great Good CGI. Good CGI. In the beginning, the ant in oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not that great a movie, but it's a good movie.
There's good effects and there's like some good shots, but it's just I don't know. I just don't like those kind of movies anymore. They're very teen adult novel.
My favorite kind. Best kind. Jude's trashing on my favorite genre.
Sorry, God. Sorry.
It had Merle from The Walking Dead.
It did.
The guy from Maze Runner.
Yeah. Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah. And what was the girl that you liked? The girl from the 100? Was she?
I don't know, but I recognize her from Game of Thrones, and she's also from Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, oh my god, that shit sucks.
That shit show. But she was in it, and she was good in Iron Fist, and she's also good in this one. And then we had to leave in the morning.
So today...
That was this morning. Today we had that Irish breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Which was really great. I really enjoyed that breakfast a lot. I had like hash brown, sausages, eggs, and beans, and it was really great. And
I had sausage, hash brown, beans, like the sunny side up eggs, and the ham or the bacon, and it was very delicious. And toast. Oh my god, so good.
I had sausage, scrambled eggs, bacon. I didn't get the beans because they came in this like little tomato soup, and all we have is forks and knives. So how are you supposed to get the tomatoey soup in with the beans with a fork? It's like eating cereal with a fork.
I did it.
You want to tell the tattoo toilet story?
Oh my god. Okay, since I'm never gonna go back to that tattoo shop ever. Okay, so when we were at the tattoo place, Rudy was getting tattooed first, and I really had to go to the washroom. I had to fight for my life.
You had to unload.
I had to unload
my shit.
I had to shit. And I was like asking the tattoo receptionist, I was like, hey, do you guys have a toilet here? And they said, yeah, it's upstairs. I'm like, okay, so I go upstairs. There's a toilet there. I'm like, okay, I do my business. And as I'm doing my business, or as I'm finishing up, I got the toilet paper and I look up, I'm like, and like what I'm seeing is a sign and it says, no pooping in this toilet. And I am in shock. And I was like, cause when I was shitting myself, I was fucking fighting for my life, so I was just like, oh my god. And then after I'm done
in this position like this,
Bro, I was fighting for my life, bro. I was fighting demons, bro.
Oh my god.
And then I look up and it says no pooping in this toilet. And I was like, wow, I can't fucking pick up my shit anymore.
Eat it. Put it back in.
So I flush and I'm like praying to God that it flushes the whole thing down, and it does. And I'm like, oh my god, thank fucking Christ. And I wash my hands. I go downstairs to John and I'm like, John, I think I fucked up. I said, John, there's a sign up there that says no pooping, and I just released the Kraken in that toilet, and I don't want to say anything to them. And
and Rudy went up to the bathroom after that. He said it smelled like shit in there. So they must have known. But the receptionist walked up there a couple times. She's probably like, someone pooped.
Who was it? Who pooped? Was it you? Was it you? Stop!
No! Stop!
No!
No, lads, please stop!
Please! Stop! No!
Holy shit.
Okay, wait, we forgot to talk about that. Okay, when we were driving by, when we were driving away from the parking lot, I didn't know that the street I was driving into was a one-way street, and the GPS said to turn left on that street. So I started turning left, and this passerby, like this like bystander was like passing us, and he was screaming on the top. I was like, "No, no, lads, no, stop, please stop, stop, no, stop, stop, stop!" And I was like, "Oh my God, is he talking to us?" And I saw the car is coming, so I like crank it into reverse and like start backing up, but there's a car behind me already, and he's like backing up as well. And I finally like go the right way, but we were laughing about that entire like night. We were just laughing so hard. Cause this man was just like, he was just screaming for our lives.
like as if he was being killed or something.
As if his family was being killed if we kept going.
Oh my God.
Okay. And then yeah, after that we came back to Cork, and now we're gonna go to Dublin. And then we're gonna say goodbye to John.
Yeah.
And then me and Rudy are gonna go to Glasgow to see his family there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much me and Rudy's week next week. John's got some big plans of his own.
Big plans.
Big dick. But yeah,
Excuse me.
we'll update you guys on the next episode. With John's plans and whatever me and Rudy do next week.
Yeah.
In Scotland. So.
Man.
Yeah.
It's been a great trip. It's been a great trip.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of good highlights. Lots of funny moments. And we still got Dublin, and we're gonna have a nice little like going away dinner before John leaves. So yeah, that's gonna be on the 26th, and tomorrow is the 25th.
Hey, so Merry Christmas Eve.
Yeah, this is a Ireland special, in real life special edition, and Christmas special. We didn't do anything Christmassy today, but we did exchange a couple gifts earlier in the week, and yeah, and we bought some gifts for our loved ones, so that was nice as well. Anyways, that's pretty much what we did this week.
Yeah, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Next week's episode is gonna be a banger.
It is also gonna be a banger. There's gonna be lots of things that happen next week. Me and Rudy will have sex. Anyways, we'll catch you guys next week in next week's episode.
All right. Have a good week. See ya.
Goodbye.